Hey, Shalom, Kol Halal, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, Bashim Chakodash, the ones that apostles of Great Millstone, and Shalom to brothers in the highways and byways, doing the work sincerely and faithfully. Lord willing, we'll find that number to be delivered. All right, so I'm going to get right into it. You know, as of late, we've been hearing a lot of talk and murmur about the Gentiles, which is always, a hot topic when it comes to the Christian community. All right. And what these Christians fail to realize is, as we always, always been breaking down and reassuring that there are two types of Gentiles. All right. The actual Gentiles from the other nations. Then you got the Israelite foreigners who were acting like the Gentiles, living like a Gentile, or even being called Gentiles by, Israelites who are in keeping the law in the land. All right. So what I want to do is touch on a few different things. All right. So C, we have G 1484, G 1672, and H 1471. Now, when you go to the Strong's Concordance, all three of these definitions, if you will, all three of these words mean Gentiles. Okay? Now, that being said, when you go to the actual word itself, for example, G 1484, it says ethnos. All right? However, when you go to the Strong's Concordance, it's labeled under the word Gentiles. All right? And that word Gentile is there's 130 entries of the word Gentile from the book of Genesis to Revelation. 130 times the word Gentile is mentioned. All right. So, as well as G 1672. All right. This is also under the term Gentile, which is singular. Okay, the other one is Gentiles, and this one is Gentile, which is singular. All right, but it's pronounced Helen. That's how that's pronounced. All right, but when you go to Strong's Concordance and you look up the word Gentiles or Gentile, it's going to be under that caption. Okay, so there's one more, and this is H 1471, which is Goy, which also is under the caption of Gentiles. All right, so you have three forms of the word Gentile. Now, what the Christian community fails to realize is that the powers that be have made a blanket definition. Okay? And what I mean by that is what they've done, and I'll show you. For example, in the Hebrew, Goy, or if you will, Goyim, which means nations. In the first I bullet point says usually a non-Hebrew people. All right? Now, once you go to each one of these words, you're going to see somewhere in the caption non-Jew or non-Hebrew, okay? Which now gives rise to the Christian community to stand steadfast on their belief that the word Gentile is exclusively referring to other nations outside of the Hebrews, which is totally false. All right. Now, does the word, are there actual Gentiles? Sure, there are. But they have a hard time believing that there are Israelite foreigners who are also known as Gentiles. But we're going to go to that. So let's go to that right now. And the first one I'm going to go to is the book of Matthew, the 4th chapter. All right. Now, Matthew, the 4th chapter, the 15th verse, 15 and 16. This is the first time the word Gentiles is located in the New Testament. The very first time. All right. So I'm going to open it up, read 15, 16, and 17. And let's see what it says here. I'll start at 14. It says, that it might be fulfilled, which was spoken by Isaiah the prophet, saying, the land of Zebulun and the land of Nephthalim, by the way of the sea, by Jordan, Galilee of the Gentiles. All right. Now, what's important to identify here, all right, is that semicolon. That semicolon is going to pull this whole thing together to let you know it's talking about a specific group of people, because the Christians will stop right there and say, you see, the Gentiles, and because they have used that blanketed statement, if you will, that it's a non-Jew or non-Israelite, this will give somebody the impression that it's talking about somebody other than the Israelites. So let's continue on to 16 before I go into the definition of that semicolon. It says, I'll start up from the top of 15. It says, the land of Zebulun and the land of Nephthalim, by the way of the sea, beyond Jordan, Galilee of the Gentiles. The people which sat in darkness saw a great light, and to them which sat in the region of the shadow of death, light is sprung up. From that time, Yahushua began to preach and to say, repent, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand. All right. So let me give the definition of semicolon. Okay. This is semicolon, a punctuation mark indicating a pause, typically between two main clauses, that is more pronounced than indicated by a comma. All right. So let's go down a little bit and read what it says here. It says, the semicolon or semicolon is a symbol commonly used as a orthographic punctuation. In the English language, a semicolon is most commonly used to link two independent clauses that are closely related in thought. Okay, that's the point. That semicolon is now going to link two independent clauses that are closely related in thought. All right, so let's go back to that. Let's go back to Matthew 4. All right, 15 and 16. Now we have two clauses, all right, independent clauses that are closely related in thought. So 15 is explaining the thought, okay? The land of Zebulun and the land of Nephthalim, by the way of the sea, beyond Jordan, Galilee of the Gentiles. 16. The people which sat in darkness saw great light, and to them which sat in the region of the region in shadow of death, light is sprung up. Okay, so now what's going to bring these two clauses together? That semicolon. So when you see that word Gentiles, that Gentiles, okay, is now being brought together with verse 16 when it speaks about the people that sat in darkness. You see? And that represents G 1484. All right? So let's go check out G 1484 for Matthew's the fourth chapter. And it says ethnos. Ethnos. Once again, a multitude, whether of men or beasts, associated or living together, a company, troop, swarm, a multitude of individuals of the same nature or genus. the human family. All right. So this is clearly talking about the nation of Israel being identified as Gentiles. Okay? They're being identified as Gentiles here. Genius, the same nature or genius, family, troop, tribe, that's Israelites. This is the very first time the word Gentiles is mentioned in the New Testament. And once again, your Christian community will swear up and down that the word Gentile exclusively and specifically belong to anybody outside of the nation of Israel. Okay? Now, we're going to go from there to the very last book of the New Testament, the book of Revelation. All right? And get a little more understanding, but also pick out a little bit of bones. All right? So now, Revelation 11, 1 and 2 says, "And there was given me a reed like unto a rod, and the angel stood, saying, Rise, and measure the temple of the Most High, and the altar, and them that worship therein." All right? Now here's the point. 2, "But the court which is without the temple leave out, and measure it not, for it is given unto the Gentiles, and to the holy city shall they tread under foot 42 months. Okay? So we understand verse 1 is speaking about teaching the children of Israel the word. Okay? Verse 2 is talking about the other nations inhabiting the temple, defiling the temple. Okay? And those other nations are being called Gentiles in this instance, which is the actual Gentile. Okay? So the book of Matthew, the 4th chapter, makes reference to Gentiles. The book of Revelation, the 11th chapter, makes reference to Gentiles. But as we maintain and steadfast teach and speak that there are 2 types of Gentiles, and this clearly proves that there are 2 types of Gentiles. Both nations are being referred to as Gentiles. Okay? But because Esau has blanketed that term Gentile just about in every definition, let's go here. G 1672. And I'm going to go down to where it says Hellenin. Where am I at here? Hold on one second. Okay. Hellenin. It says Grecian or inhabitant of Hellenis, by extension Greek-speaking persons, especially a non-Jew, Gentile. Okay? Once again, there's the trap. There's the deception. A non-Jew, which let's go to this word Hellenas right here and see what that says. Okay? Now that brings us, it's mentioned 5 times here, 1672, and that's going to bring us to John 7 and 35. Now that's the one we want to check out, because it's going to give you, once again, both types of Gentiles. So what I'll do is I'll go here, go back up here to H 1471, and this says, going down to the definitions, it says usually of non-Hebrew people. There it is again. All right. which bolsters the thought process of these so-called Christians when it comes to understanding the term or the word Gentiles. All right. And the last one, which was the third, going down, once again, ethnos. And as you read through it, it says, i.e. tribe, especially a foreign, non-Jewish. All right. And this is the foundation of the Christians. And anybody else that believes this theory that the Gentiles are of the other nations only. And once again, if Esau, when he put this Strong's Concordance together, if he had done a little bit of legwork, he would have been able to put it together where you could clearly understand that there are more than just one type of Gentile. But he used a blanket definition, if you will, and that encompasses all people outside of the Hebrews or the Jews, if you will. All right. And there's your confusion, and there's your deception. And this is why when people come up to the camps and we started breaking down the Gentiles and the Israelite foreigners being Gentiles, being, dispersed, this is why they don't understand it, because they're steadfast on the sole definition that it's a non-Jewish person, if you will, or non-Jew or non-Israelite. All right. So from there, we hit that. So check this out. Now, this is John 7:35, right? And as you read it, it's called the text analysis. Text analysis. So it pretty much breaks down every word. Now, when you go to, matter of fact, let me hold here. Let me hold that. And let me go here and put in, let me get the typo here. John 7:35. So let's put that in, right? And I want to go to the 31st verse and look at the tools. 35th verse, rather. All right. John 7:35, which is here. Let me go to tools. Now, let's look at these words. Gentile. Okay. So clearly, you have the word Gentile, right? Now, this is through the Strongs. In G 1672, and you're going to see the word Hellenin. All right. And if you scroll down to the last Gentile, you're going to see the word Hellenin. So they're representing it to be both the same word, and at the end of the day, they both mean what? Greek. All right. But the difference is when you go to John 7:36, now let's back it up and go to it and read it. This is John 7:35, rather, Shlakia. And it says, Then said the Jews among themselves, Whither will he go, that we shall not find him? Will he go unto the dispersed among the Gentiles and teach the Gentiles? All right. So the problem here is, you read this at face value, you're going to automatically assume it's talking about Israelite foreigners. He's going to go to the Israelite foreigners and teach the Israelite foreigners. Salakia. He's going to go to the other nations and teach the other nations. That's not what's being said here. Okay? So it's actually being said, and it describes or explains to you what's actually being said. Now let's read it again with some understanding. It says, Then said the Jews among themselves, Whither will he go, that we shall not find him? And this is the point. Will he go unto the dispersed? All right. We understand and know that the children of Israel have been the nation that was dispersed. All right. Throughout the four corners of the earth. And it says, will he go unto the dispersed among the Gentiles? Because our people had been scattered amongst the other nations. So the dispersed, and it's referring to the actual Gentiles, the other nations there. And then it doubles up and it says, and teach the Gentiles. Okay, now that Gentiles is talking about the Israelites that were scattered or dispersed. All right. So, and the reason why we can prove that, now some people may not like what we say or how we break it down, but it's because they're steadfast on the fact that the way they were taught that the Gentiles were everybody else outside of the nation of Israel. So let's open up John 7:35, right? So it speaks about, is the Lord going to go to the Israelite, is going to go to the Gentiles and teach the Gentiles? Well, how do we understand and how will we know that it's speaking of the Gentiles? So let's go back up to verse 14. We'll go to verse 14. And it says, now about the midst of the feast, Yahushua went up into the temple and taught. Okay? So he was clearly teaching certain things. And he was teaching these certain things to Israelites. Okay? Let's jump down to verse 28. It says, then cried Yahushua in the temple as he taught, knowing whence he is. Okay. And let me read that again. 28. Then cried Yahushua in the temple as he taught, saying, ye both know me, and ye know whence I am. All right. So the point being made here is that he was in the temple teaching the children of Israel. Okay. So when you jump down to 35, this is when the Jews were asking themselves, because he made mention on 33. Then said Yahushua unto them, yet a little while I am with you, and then I go unto him that sent me. Ye shall seek me, and shall not find me, and whence I am, thither ye cannot come. 35, the points. Then said the Jews among themselves, whither will he go that we shall not find him? Will he go? Whither will he go that we shall not find him? Will he go unto the dispersed among the Gentiles? Right, so now they're making it crystal clear that there's a group of people that have been dispersed amongst another group of people. All right? And that word Gentiles represents or is defined as Greeks. Will he go into the Greeks and teach the Greeks? Because why was it making mention when he teach the Greeks? And this is why it's a stumbling block for a lot of people. All right. So let's go figure out why would he teach the Greeks. Let's go figure that out. Okay. This is the term Hellenist. Okay. And as we read the definition, Hellenist, Grecian, it says, the term applied in the New Testament to Greek-speaking or Grecian Jews. All right? So when the Jews had come up and asked the question, whither will he go? Will he go into the Greeks and teach the Greeks? All right? To the dispersed, rather. Will he go unto the dispersed amongst the Greeks to teach the Greeks? This is what this is the reason why it was made or said that way. Because you had Israelites who were living as Greeks. And as it's going to read on, it says, the Hellenists as a body included not only the proselytes of Greeks, once again, who are Israelites or foreign parentage, but also those Jews who, by settling in foreign countries, had adopted and prevented from the current Greek civilization and with it the use of the common Greek dialect. Okay? So therefore, they adopted the prevalence from the Greek current civilization. Okay? So this is why the Jews asked that question. Not because he was going to go and teach the Jews, because as they say, oh, the Jews turned their back on the Lord, so he went to the other people. These other heathens had nothing to do with the Lord. The Lord had nothing to do with them. Okay? Going back. Let me go back again here. So that was the point. That the Lord had nothing to do with these other heathens when it came to teaching the word. So continuing on, now going back to the text analysis. Now the text analysis, it shows here, we read in the blue letter, John 7:35, and when we broke down that word, Greeks or Gentiles, it gave the same number of 1672. But look at it in the Greek as we break it down with the word analysis. Okay, you see the word Greek here, and now you see the word Hellenon. And then the last one, 1672, you see the word Greek, and now you see the word Hellenas. All right, so there's two different words there. If it was all the same people, why is there two different words? And this is another question these Christian, the Christian community has to answer. It's very simple. If it was all just any nation of people outside of the Jews, then why is there 3 or 2 different definitions for the word Gentile? That's a question you got to ask yourself. It could have been made very simple. If it was another nation of people outside of the Jews, there would be only need for one word: Gentile, period. But that word gets broken down. As you see, the word Gentile can mean Greek. As you see, the word Gentile can mean ethnos. The word Gentile can mean goyim. All right? And the word Gentile can mean Hellenon. So there's 3 different words that can make up that word Gentile. So it has to be deeper than just proclaiming that it's, anybody outside of the nation of Israel. All right? So with that, I believe that's just about it. Once again, it was just a quick hit to break down that word Gentile and that semicolon, which is in the book of Matthew, the 4th chapter, how it explains that the Israelites, whom the Lord said he was coming to redeem, were spoken of, were spoken of those men being known as Gentiles. All right. So I'm going to end it with that. Lord willing, you're edified on this one. And I'll see you on the next one. I say shalom.